Hello! Today's stories come from r/am I the jerk. We have 3 stories today. Our first stirred up a little controversy with half the people calling the dad the jerk and the other half calling OP entitled and unrealistic. Story 1 is titled, Am I the butthole for refusing to forgive my dad for breaking our deal? When I, 17-year-old male, was 8, my parents bought me a piano and signed me up for lessons. I was super excited because I love music. Over time, I kind of became known as the piano guy at school. I play at school concerts, accompany the school jazz choir, and play once a week for the residents at a couple of retirement homes in our town. When I was 15, I started to talk about quitting lessons, and my parents quickly tried to guilt me out of it. I told them I wanted to try other things and that between piano and studying, I didn't have much time left for other extracurriculars. My dad proposed a deal. If I kept playing and taking lessons until I reached level 10, Royal Conservatory of Music, and I continued to keep my grades up at school, he would buy me a new car of my choice. I jumped at it and we shook hands on the deal. I should explain that my family is well off financially. I have a very privileged life, but I wouldn't say I've been spoiled. If I ever want a luxury item like a new phone or game console, I have to buy it myself with money I've saved from summer and after school jobs. I should also explain that my dad's big on loopholes. When we compete, he always finds a way to win, and when I do, it doesn't count because of some loophole. It drives me nuts, but he thinks it's hilarious. Whenever I complain about him not playing fair, his answer is always the same. Life isn't fair. So, because of our deal, I kept up with my lessons. I spent about 1 to 2 hours a day on piano while keeping my grades up. Last summer, I took my level 9 Royal Conservatory of Music exams and passed, fulfilling my part of the deal. I told my dad I'd chosen the BMW X5 plug-in hybrid SUV. A couple of months ago, on my birthday, I came downstairs for breakfast, and my dad told me there was a surprise waiting for me in the garage. I ran out, and sitting in the middle of the floor was a 1/24th scale toy BMW X5. My dad burst out laughing and said, "A deal's a deal, so as promised, here is your brand new BMW." My heart absolutely broke. I asked if he was being serious, and he said I couldn't seriously have expected him to buy a 17-year-old a real brand new BMW. Also, that we could discuss getting me a reasonably priced used car. I said we had a deal, and I fulfilled my end of it. He said he did too, since I never said that the car had to be full size and drivable. I said he wasn't being fair. His response, "Life isn't fair." Ever since this happened, I've been distant with my dad. I honestly feel like he betrayed my trust and that he deliberately made a fool out of me. He keeps bringing up the idea of a used car, but I told him I'm not interested, which I admit is kind of petty. I have enough money saved that I can buy a cheap used car myself. I just feel like if I accept one from him now, it's like saying that breaking his promise didn't matter and that he didn't do anything wrong. Am I the butthole? In the comments, Slight Bar said, "Not the butthole. Someday when he wants to come home for holidays, send a framed photo he can set at the table. There, you are home. You didn't tell him you'd be there in person. Life's not fair, Dad." Numerous ads said, "Info, have you always known your dad is Rumpelstiltskin? Or was it this instance that clued you in? Not the butthole." OP replied, "He's always been big on technicalities. That's why when we made the deal, I asked if he really meant it. I confirmed that he really meant any car I wanted. Like if I asked for a Lamborghini, that's okay?" And he said absolutely. The toy car thing just didn't occur to me. Dumb, I know. Agreeable Weather said, "No buttholes here. People here are idiots. You were 17. You want an $80,000 car at 17. You aren't a butthole for asking for it, but at the same time, he isn't for not giving a 17-year-old a car that most people could only dream of. He wants to give you a used car and you are upset. That's entitlement. You are getting a car, presumably quite a nice one, for your birthday, and you are acting up over it. The amount of not the butthole or go no contact here tells me this subreddit audience are full of literalists or children. Either way, the world is flexible. If the dad refused any car, I'd probably go butthole, but he isn't. Grow up, get a free car, enjoy yourself. Edit. OP blocked me for this comment. I'm going to have to say OP is the butthole, but only one butthole out of 5. The reason being, I get that he's disappointed, but he really shouldn't have expected anything different from his dad. And I can't get past the fact that he won't accept a used car. A car at 17 is a luxury. He should just be thankful for what he gets. Our second story was a little less controversial because everyone was climbing over themselves to call out OP. Story 2 is titled, Am I the butthole for not letting my sister's boyfriend use hot sauce? Every Sunday, my family rotates who makes dinner. One day, it's my wife and I. The next time is my sister and her boyfriend. The next, my mom and dad. Then finally, my grandmother. With our busy lives, this day is important to us because besides holidays, we wouldn't be able to meet up and chat or eat without it. We come from an Italian family but are in Canada. My mom was born there. I was here. I take my food very seriously, especially Italian food, and double especially because my nonna is eating with us. I spent all day preparing dinner, and when we sat down to eat, my sister's boyfriend is humming and hawing, saying my meal is missing something. He said he needs hot sauce and starts walking to my fridge. All I have is Frank's and sriracha. I like hot sauce too, but I don't dare mix cuisines like that. So I stopped him, saying I'd appreciate it if he enjoyed my meal as it is. He said it's no big deal, and in a way, it isn't, but also in many ways, it is. I told him at the very least I have some Calabrian chili oil he can use or dried chili flakes. Then it would at least still be Italian. He insists on sriracha, and I declined him. He escalated it and said he was going to go to the store and buy his own bottle and return if that's the case. And I said, by all means. He left, we finished up dinner, and we called it an early night. Everyone is putting their coat and shoes on as he returns, and he's upset. Was I the butthole? My sister is on my side if it matters, but this has been a fight all day yesterday between them because he wants my sister on his side, not mine. They've been dating only 3 months. Edit. If it matters, I made carbonara, bruschetta, and then for mains, which he didn't get to yet, was a seafood platter in red sauce. My wife and I are 34, 35 respectively. My sister and boyfriend are 23, 22 respectively. In the comments, Miss Shrimp Toast said, everyone sucks here. Policing how someone likes their food is a bad look. My husband likes ketchup on his scrambled eggs. I think he must have a demon whispering lies into his ear. But that's his right to let the demon lead him astray. Quoting, I like hot sauce too, but I don't dare mix cuisines like that. Miss Shrimp Toast went on to say, you say this like you think you'll also invite a demon into your home. Chill, it's hot sauce. However, I feel like the boyfriend's comment, something is missing, is pretty rude on his part. All he'd have to ask, or say, is that he prefers his food spicy. Critiquing the meal was uncalled for. I'm also pretty baffled by his insisting on going to the store to purchase hot sauce. That's just absurd. You'd think if hot sauce were such a priority, he'd keep it in his back pocket or something. Honestly, you both sound exhausting, and I feel bad for your sister. Edit. Y'all, I'm well aware that ketchup on eggs is common. I just think it's evidence of demons on earth and that God has forsaken us all. And yet, I'd offer ketchup to my guests, since I don't discuss religion at the breakfast table. Both OP and the potential future brother-in-law are buttholes. So, 2 buttholes out of 5. Is that how that works? Huh. Oh well, 2 out of 5. That's what I give. Who, for the love of cheese, makes disparaging comments about someone's home-cooked meal? The girlfriend's family, no less, 3 months into a relationship, and then helps themselves to the fridge to grab something to address the so-called inadequacies of the meal. That's so awkward. Ooh, cringe. But then, OP just had to chastise the guy, which is even worse. If you thought OP in the second story was a massive butthole, story 3 brings some fresh perspective on just how high the scale can go. It is titled, Am I the butthole for telling her to get over herself? I got a dog 2 years ago, Corgi, and she is very much so my sidekick. I've been with my fiancé for 5 years. My fiancé does like the dog, but she is currently pregnant and experiencing massive migraines and has been snapping at everything. So every morning when I get up, I find my fiancé already awake and at the table relaxing. As soon as I get out of the bed, my dog goes nuts. It's like super energy where she is running sideways, barking up a storm, jumping from the bed to the floor a million times, causing the apartment to shake because it's old as F, etc. And I will sit there and sing made-up songs to her and just F around with her. It is pretty noisy, and I can be loud. It's just my way of interacting with my pet. I also have ADHD, so I'm fully aware that I can be ridiculously loud and sometimes I simply forget to tone it down. My fiance has complained about it a few times, and I will absolutely try to tone it down for a while. But as effed up as it sounds, the second she stops complaining and it's out of sight, out of mind, I start doing it again. If I catch myself, I apologize immediately, but sometimes I don't even catch myself doing it. So she has been getting up earlier than normal because she says she needs peace and quiet away from you and the dog. Because she can't hear herself think when we get up, and then she starts getting migraines and being overall upset. But now she is complaining because I can sense her not in the bed anymore, probably after 20 minutes of her being gone and her warmth no longer there. And then I'm wide awake and the dog senses it, and, you know. So she's now getting upset because she thinks I'm purposely not letting her have space and purposely annoying her with my behaviors. I'm not, truly, but it seems like it, I guess. I've tried just laying in bed for a while so she can relax, but I get stir crazy. And I also don't feel like I should have to stay in bed so she can be alone when I live here too. But she flipped this morning. I felt her sneaking out of bed this morning at 5 a.m. and tiptoe out of the room. I watched her sit at the table with her book. Well, the dog saw me awake and immediately goes ballistic, jumping on the bed, whining, barking, etc. She comes in and says, "Will you guys calm down so I can have time to myself for once?" I just side-eyed her because I'm getting upset at this point with her demands. She says, "Well," I tell her to get over herself. Just because she's pregnant doesn't mean I have to change who I am or change how the household works or change my dynamic with my dog. She immediately left after telling me to go F myself and won't answer my calls. She's been gone for 6 hours. In the comments, and in response to, "The second she stops complaining and it's out of sight, out of mind, I start doing it again," LBW said, "You're the butthole. This mindset is how women get branded as nags, when in reality, their partners can't just hold the smallest bit of consideration for others. Your partner is literally sneaking out of bed in the early morning hours to just have a moment of peace and quiet to relax. And you can't let her have it, because if she isn't actively complaining, you can't respect her need to have a few minutes of quiet?" Someone replied, "OP sounds like the most annoying butthole in existence." Ryolulu said, "Dude, just reading you is exhausting. She is reduced to get out of bed at 5 a.m. while pregnant to try to get away from your behavior? She should be resting and you should be trying to make things easy for her, but you can't even give her 2 hours of quietness? You're the butthole." Okay, I get OP's point that he shouldn't have to change who he is for his partner. I agree with that generally as a statement. But come on. He basically acknowledges throughout his post that he knows he's annoying, says he continues on with said annoying behavior, even though the woman carrying his child, no small feat, asks him to tone it down, and he basically tells her to suck it up. And something tells me this isn't just limited to the morning. Not to mention, she's going out of her way to accommodate him while pregnant. OP, you are the butthole. 3 buttholes out of 5. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.